Good morning, students. In this lecture, we will be talking about the nervous system of earthworm. So, students, nervous system in the earthworm is well developed and it is concentrated type of nervous system. So, as in the previous animals we have seen, just in the case of cycon or previous animals, the nervous system was of diffused type, but here it is quite well developed. It consists of three major parts. The very first part is the central nervous system. The second is the peripheral nervous system. And third is the sympathetic nervous system. So these are the three categories of the nervous system in earthworm. So we will be starting first of all with the central nervous system. Now students, central nervous system of earthworm, it consists of two major things. Number one, it is the nerve ring, and second part is the ventral nerve cord. So in the coming diagram we will be seeing this ring and the cord. This is the diagram of the nervous system of the earthworm, and here you can very well see this is the very first part, which is the ring of the nervous system. So this is the black one. This is the ring of the central nervous system, and this black cord, it is the ventral nerve cord. Now this ventral nerve cord is present on the ventral side of the earthworm. So as the earthworm has got a dorsal and a ventral side, so this runs on the ventral side of the earthworm. That's why it is called as the ventral nerve cord. Now this cord, it is originating from the ring. So if you see the ring, this is a particular ring which is formed of two type of ganglia. So we will be taking those ganglia into account very soon. So from this ring, a ventral nerve cord arises, and which is going downwards up till the end, up till the anal segment of the earthworm. Now, very important thing is that this ring, it starts from the third segment. If we take that this is the first segment, this is the second segment, and this is the third segment. So this ring, it starts with the third segment of the earthworm. So that's why we take out the pin in the first or the second segment of the earthworm while we are dissecting for nervous system. So what we do is that whenever we are dissecting this earthworm, we pin the earthworm on the anterior side on the first segment so that our nerve ring is not disturbed or not disrupted. So to protect this ring, we have to go for the first segment for dissection. Anyhow, so that was another aspect. Now if we take the ring into account, what is present in the ring? So students, the ring of the central nervous system, it is composed of two major ganglia. The first type of ganglia, they are the cerebral ganglia. So these are two in number. So you can see these are the round structures which are present on the top. So these are dorsal in position, and below these ganglia, the cerebral ganglia, we have the second type of ganglia which are called as the subpharyngeal ganglia. So these are again two in number, first on this side, second on this side. So that means we have got total of 4 ganglia present in earthworm, which are 2 are the cerebral ganglia, 2 are the subpharyngeal ganglia. Now why they are called as subpharyngeal? Sub, that means, sub means below. These are present below the pharynx region. And one thing is very important, that this particular ring of the central nervous system, it is present around the esophagus. So this ring is surrounding the esophagus. So these four ganglia, they are joined together with two connectives. Now these are called as the circumpharyngeal connectives. So you can very well see over here, it has been written the circumpharyngeal connectives. Now one connective is present on the one side. So this is one of the connective, and this is the second connective, which is connecting the cerebral ganglia to the subpharyngeal ganglia. So that's how we get a ring out of these four ganglia. So students, that was about the ring, and from the lower subpharyngeal ganglia, a ventral nerve cord arises. This is the nerve cord, and this nerve cord has got, in each segment, it has got segmental ganglion. So this is one ganglion, this is the second ganglion, and this is the third ganglion. So here we have written the segmental ganglion. So you may think of the number of the segmental ganglia. If you have suppose 200 segments in the earthworm, so there will be 200 segmental ganglia in this nerve cord. So as it is extending from like fourth segment, so if we are taking it from fifth segment onwards, so there will be 5 ganglia less than the number of the total segments. So students, from these segmental ganglia, segmental nerves, they arise on both the sides, just like this. Now they are arising on both the sides, and they are going only and only in that particular segment. They are not crossing the segment. So if we take the segmental ganglion number 1, the nerves of this segmental ganglion, they will be present in the segment number in which that particular segmental ganglion is present. So these nerves will not go to the next segment. So these segmental ganglia, they are present in each and every segment, and they are giving off the segmental nerves to the whole segment for controlling that particular segment of the body. So that was the case of the central nervous system. Now if we take this same diagram in the lateral position, so it will be just like this. So this is the diagram of the nervous system of earthworm from the lateral side. So here you can very well see that we have got the cerebral ganglia. This is of one side, and this is, suppose this is of left side, and the right will be on the other side. So we have 2 cerebral ganglia, then we have 2 subpharyngeal ganglia. So these are the subpharyngeal ganglia. That was the cerebral ganglion. So we have a connective also. So here we have the cerebral, or you can say circumpharyngeal connective, which is connecting these 2 ganglia. So I have given you the concept of the connective and the commissure in the last lectures. So connective is connecting 2 different ganglia, whereas the commissure is connecting 2 similar type of ganglia. So here the first ganglion is the cerebral ganglion, and the second ganglion is the subpharyngeal ganglion. So that's why we write it as a connective, because these are 2 different types of ganglia. So from this particular subpharyngeal ganglion, this ventral nerve cord arises, and it goes posteriorly, and in each segment it is containing a segmental ganglion. Now from this segmental ganglion we have the segmental nerves arising, which are going into the particular segment for their control. So this is the lateral diagram of the nervous system. Now that was about the central nervous system. Now we are considering the next type of the nervous system, that will be the peripheral nervous system. Now if we take the peripheral nervous system into account, now each cerebral ganglion is giving off 8 to 10 nerves which innervate the prostomium and the buccal chamber. So here we can see that cerebral ganglia is giving you the prostomial nerves and the peristomial nerves. So these are a part of peripheral nervous system. Now the nerves from the peripharyngeal connectives, they supply the peristomium. Now this is a very important thing, that peristomial nerves, they are arising from the connective. They are not coming out of the cerebral ganglia. So prostomial nerves, they are arising from the ganglia, and the peristomial nerves are arising from the connective. So this is very important thing to note. Now the nerves from the subpharyngeal ganglia, the lower ones, they supply the structures in the second, third and the fourth segments. Now this is again a very important thing. So these are the nerves which are arising from the subpharyngeal ganglia. So they are going for the third and the fourth segments. Now each segmental ganglion of the ventral nerve cord, it is giving off 3 pairs of lateral nerves. So those were the nerves which we discussed earlier. So these are the segmental nerves. They are also coming in the peripheral nervous system. So if we take the ring into account, and if we take the ventral nerve cord into account, this forms the central nervous system. And if we take the peripheral nerves like the prostomial nerves, peristomial nerves, the nerves to the second, third and fourth segment, and the segmental nerves, they are coming under peripheral nervous system. So each segmental ganglion, it is giving off 3 pairs of the lateral nerves. One of the pair, it is on the front side. So this particular nerve, it is on the front side, and 2 are given off posteriorly into that particular segment. So total becomes the 3 pairs of nerves. So this is a particular arrangement of the nerves in a single segment of earthworm. So the nerves, they are of mixed type, so consisting of both afferent or you can say sensory fibers and motor fibers. So these are of mixed type nerves which are making the peripheral nervous system of earthworm. Now students, if we talk about the third type of the nervous system, that is the sympathetic nervous system. And this particular system, it consists of an very extensive network of nerves which is called as a nerve plexus. So it is spreading beneath the epidermis within the muscles of the body, and it is also present over the alimentary canal. So that is a network of, this is a mesh of nerves which is present all over the epidermis and the alimentary canal, or the wall of the alimentary canal. And these plexus, the nerve plexus, they are connected with the peripharyngeal connectives. So that was the third part of the nervous system. And if we talk generally about the whole of the nervous system of earthworm, once again, so it was divided into three parts. First was the central nervous system, which was composed of a ring and a ventral nerve cord. Second was the peripheral nervous system, which consists of the prostomial nerves, peristomial, second, third, and fourth nerves. Then we have the segmental nerves. So here the segmental nerves were in three pairs. The first pair was going anteriorly to the segment, and the last two pairs are posterior in position. And if we go for the third or the sympathetic nervous system, so it was consisting of a network of nerves which is called as a nerve plexus, and this plexus is present on the epidermis of the whole body, within the muscles of the body wall, and on the alimentary canal of the earthworm. So together these three types of nervous systems, they act together in coordination, and that helps to earthworm uh, a lot in like moving, in eating, in going for respiration, going for like coordinatory movements. So it is very important for the overall coordination of the earthworm. So that was all about the nervous system in this particular animal.